Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. I'm Jim, and I finally got to watch Tarot. This was a movie that definitely had my interest peaked since the first time I saw that this was coming out, because I'm a tarot card reader myself, oracle cards, tarot cards, and all of that good stuff. So I was extremely interested in this, as I have been with the series of all the different Ouija movies. And who knows, this could actually work itself into a franchise because it's just got that kind of feel to it. And we'll see how it does after this first few weeks at the box office. So if you're not familiar with this movie, it is a PG-13 film. And I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes. It's an hour and 32 minutes, 2024 film. And the directors are Spencer Cohen and Anna Hallberg, and they each also share writing credits with Nicholas Adams. And it's got some recognizable actors in it. There's a character Paige played by Avantika, and she was in most recently the musical movie adaptation of Mean Girls, and she actually happened to be my favorite of the characters in that Mean Girls. I'm a Mean Girls fan. Um, didn't really like that musical version though, but she was the standout in my opinion. We also have Jacob Batalon, who's going to be extremely familiar as Ned. His name is Paxton in this, but I will undoubtedly just refer to him as Ned because unfortunately that's all I see him as. And his character is somewhat similar, other than he would be the token pothead in the group of friends. Um, and the rest, there's a bunch of other people, the different cannon fodder, collateral damage. But then I was also surprised to see Olwen Ferrari. She was Sally in the most recent Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and she was also in another movie that I recently reviewed, and I can't think of the title off the top of my head, but I did enjoy that movie very much. She's a very cool actress and plays some interesting characters, and she does in this one as well. She um, gives some of our characters the background into the history of the tarot curse that's on this particular deck of cards. So, the synopsis: when a group of friends recklessly violates the sacred rule of tarot readings, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death. So this movie does a lot of tropey things. It's kind of unavoidable in this theme of a movie, and baseline story is not that original. It's hard to escape some of the, you know, friend style group, one person picked off at a time by whatever evil is unleashed, or, it has all those elements of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Um, any of those, I don't know why that is the movie that came to my head, because it doesn't have that theme other than it's just like that one character at a time being kind of picked off. Um, so basically, it's a group of friends. They're having like a holiday weekend or something, get together, and it opens up with the campfire, um, drinking, getting to know the characters kind of opening, where we meet the dynamic of the group, and the different personalities, and you get your token lesbian couple, you get the pothead, which was Ned, and the relationship status between two other characters, and they were drinking Sam Adams, and I thought that was actually very interesting. I don't know why, but Sony must have paid or Sam Adams paid Sony or whatever, but it wasn't like a generic beer, and I don't know why that stood out to me, other than that it was in one particular shot, very predominantly placed can of Sam Adams, and it definitely felt like a product placement. I don't notice them as much anymore in movies as I used to. Back in the day, that used to be a really big deal. was product placements. Um, but they run out of beer. They run out of drinks, so they start searching the house that they're staying in. I couldn't, maybe I missed it. I tend to drift in and out of attention span depth, and they're searching the house now for alcohol. They stumble into they break into a room that has a lot of vibe to it, a lot of ambiance, a lot of things going on. Very neat room. It's a room that I definitely would probably want to chill in and read a book. Ned comes across a tarot deck, and one of the characters happens to be a tarot card reader, and they do a really, really strong push with astrology being tied with the tarot, which is there is a whole back, the history of tarot also involves a lot of astrology. A lot of modern tarot card readers don't actually do the astrology horoscope part of the tarot, like they don't tie the two together, but the major arcana does have ties with that. So I think maybe they went with that theme as being the predominant theme to attract a broader audience. I don't know if they needed to do that. I don't know that it really added anything to the story, but the way it was written, it did play into when the group decides to have the girl, and I really did a bad job of that's the struggle of seeing movies in theaters, is I can't take notes as I'm writing. So I'm going to be generic with not actually probably saying names except for Ned's. At any rate, the one blonde girl does the readings, and they do talk about each other's astrological signs and things like that. And the tarot card reading part, they make a point to say everybody is knowledgeable of that you shouldn't read cards that belong to somebody else without the permission, and it's kind of funny. That particular scene reminded me of a quicker version of the movie Talk to Me, when everybody was taking a turn holding the hand and having their vision. This was the same thing where they do like a fast paced tarot card read for everybody. She does a good job. I do like the setup. The ambiance is very cool. I did appreciate the cards themselves, the artwork. I would love to see that they would release a prop deck of cards, or like to sell at FYE or online or something. Because I do dig the artwork. I like the darker tones of tarot cards. The one that I particularly use is a darker themed artwork, and she does a 13 card spread, which would be the 12 cards, which would be representative of the uh, astrology portion, and then the 13th card in the middle. And we get like close-up shots of that 13th card because those characters are going to be the ones that become the killers of each of the person potentially who had that card read for them. So in concept, this was a very good film, and I didn't not enjoy it. I really, I get why studios are doing these PG-13s, but it's unfortunate because like a movie like this really could have really ramped up with the horror elements by being more in your face with the gore and the kills, because all of these kills are just underwhelming. So it takes away a little bit for the dread. Also, this has become a very popular thing for me anyways. I've become so unattached to characters that I don't care if they live or survive anymore, it seems. And I don't know if that's a reflection of me just getting older, or if it's just poor writing in general, because I'm finding more of these group dynamic movies. It happened in Abigail too. Like in Abigail, you're rooting for Abigail, and then in this movie, you're not really rooting for anyone. You're just kind of waiting out to see what kind of a creative kill there's going to be. And the build-ups to the kills are decent. Like there's the proper kind of music, and there's that element of, is the music about to make me jump and it's going to be a fake jump scare, or is it going to be the reveal of whatever the tarot character is that's after that person? I think some of the character designs look very cool. All of the, well, there's only like three actually that get a credit, but in the IMDb credits, there are actual actors that are getting credit. Now, there is definitely CGI involved with these characters' looks, but there are definitely people doing practical movement as well. So that was cool. Um, and I would have liked to have seen more of those characters. So, you know, that was another miss. They did such a good job of going very fast with the characters that they didn't waste a lot of the movie's time, like with this character development or introduction to characters. But then they wasted time later on, uh, when everybody was going their separate ways, and we were getting just underwhelming kills, so to speak. And then, once we get down to a certain level of group, when they kind of have that revelation like these group movies do, where there's something going on, we need to find out more. Let's go to the library, or let's go to the computer and let's dig in and let's Scooby-Doo this shit and find out why we're being picked off. Why are we not safe? Do we stay together as a group? And then there's the one that's like, fuck that, I'm not staying together as a group. And then, we need to all just lock ourselves into a room and we'll be fine and we'll just wait this out. And we need to call the police. The police aren't going to believe us. You're crazy. They're going to lock you up. So we go through all that tropiness. And then it leads them to the Owen Ferrari character. She's an old timey-wimey, witchy kind of tarot person. She gives a lot of background into the story. So there was a very thought out story for the writers, as far as like how deep they were going with the lore of this deck and what's happening. And I'm not obviously going to spoil any of that. She was an interesting character. So now we've got backstory, but then we still have no resolution. We've kind of got a hint on how we can, kill the deck, or whatever. I'm trying to be like spoiler free ish. How do we stop this all from happening? We still have discord between the group that want to, some want to just run and other whatever. Then we get down to the final, two. We've got this massive battle going on now. Now we're getting some very good interaction with this demon type character, going head to head with our final people. And then again, like too tropey thing, like where I got to a point where it's like this final girl and they're having a battle and it looks like she's about to bite it. And I literally said to myself, this is going to be when somebody who I think is dead is probably going to come back and save her. Because I was thinking that's the only way that she doesn't get killed. Like, it's too soon for this movie to be ending with the actual everybody killed. And then sure enough, that scenario played out, and it was a little frustrating. It did take away from the end battle experience for me, because it really wasn't a horrible thing. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of very cool, creative things. But overall, I would say this is a very generic, formulaic kind of movie. There's some comedy elements into this, not overboard, which was great, but it was Ned. And again, it's really hard for me personally to see him, Jacob, as any other character but Ned. And then there's like this kind of a strange wrap up ending. I think there was even, let me write down, see if I wrote down that there was like a little credit. I wrote that I was low key mad at the end. I'm pretty sure there was like either like seconds into the end credits, there's like another little thing going on. But this could potentially, I see, work itself into a sequel if it does really well. But if you like Talk to Me and you like kind of Ouija stories, I recommend it if you're a tarot card fan as well. Like, I didn't hate this movie by any means. I would probably even rewatch this, to be honest. And I haven't been able to say that about a lot of movies recently. But it's just kind of mid. It's just, it did what it was supposed to do. It's just okay. Um, I'm not even mad that it went to the theaters. I'm actually glad that it went to the theaters, and I really do hope it does well. And I wouldn't mind to see a sequel to it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on Tarot, and if you've seen it, leave some maybe spoiler-free comments since it's still kind of new. It did come out May 10th, so I'm a little behind-ish on this, but yeah, overall not so bad.
Row 18, plot 20.